to Channel Japan, a program produced by Nikkei, Japan's leading economic and financial media. I'm Maki Arai.
And I'm Makiko Utsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
So let's get started. First up is Tokyo Trek Selection.
Yes, and this time we have a compilation of our past episodes on the Asakusa and Kappabashi areas, so take a look. So this is the Sumida River, and you can see the Tokyo Skytree behind it.
Tokyo Skytree is a 634-meter broadcasting tower. It's recognized as the tallest tower in the world. Appearing ahead is the Azuma Bridge. The original bridge was constructed in the Edo period several centuries ago. This time I took a ride on a jinriksha, or a rickshaw. In Asakusa there are many rickshaws for hire, and the pullers will guide passengers through the neighborhood. Many of them will also give tours in English.
Lots of people came here from about 400 years ago in Edo period. Yeah. Because in Edo period, this Asakusa was #1 entertainment city. People enjoy kabuki, ukiyo-e, and Japanese style food. Yeah. Before Edo period, lots of civil war in Japan. But beginning Edo period became very peaceful, so Japanese people could enjoy entertainment.
The pullers will not only introduce the history of neighborhoods and facilities, but also recommend establishments to visit. There are numerous shopping streets in the area, and many retain an atmosphere of the Edo period. It was my first time riding on a rickshaw, and I was able to see the townscape from a slightly different perspective. Walking on, at this establishment I found items unique to Japan.
This is a drum shop. This is a huge Japanese drum. They sell lots of goods that you use in a Japanese festival, so big drums, little drums. They look like small cymbals, and hit them with these baton-looking sticks.
And this is an omikoshi, or a portable shrine carried during festivals. In Japan, Shinto festivals are held in various regions, and these types of shrine are carried through the streets, while people on floats play music using traditional instruments. This shop specializes in omikoshi and taiko, or drums used in festivals.
These are all Japanese drums, but they come in all shapes and sizes, and they say the sound is slightly different for each one.
A shop assistant showed me some of the items.
This is a drum called a long trunk drum. It makes a low, deep sound. It's used by Shinto shrines, Buddhist temples, and professional taiko drummers, and during regional Bon Odori festivals. They can weigh tens of kilograms. Smaller ones can be carried by one person, but with bigger ones you need several people. This is a carry tub drum. The trunk is made using a wooden pail, and it's light. It makes a light sound. This is a set that's put into festival floats. It's used for musical accompaniment. You can't just cut wood and use it right away. It contains moisture, so the shape could change, or if it dries, it can crack. The wood is dried and sometimes set aside for 3 to 5 years.
Can you see it? A huge statue of a cook sitting on top of a building. What kind of shop is it? Let's go take a look.
So it's a store selling kitchenware, cookware. And my, they are affordable.
There are various other types of cookingware, even large pots you'd find in a professional kitchen. Also displayed nearby is dishware, bowls, plates, and even containers for seasonings. Steamers, frying pans, and these must be machines to make shaved ice. Inside there are a number of juicers and ladles. This appears to be a shamoji, a paddle used to serve rice, but it's quite big. This street is actually concentrated with wholesale shops for dishware and cooking equipment. Kappabashi is about a 10-minute walk from Sensoji Temple in Asakusa. 170 or so specialty shops line an 800-meter-long street.
I came to see the wide selection of dishware. I wanted a teapot, but there are so many, so I've been having trouble deciding from the first shop.
We visited a shop selling food samples. They provide items that can be used as samples of what's on the menus of restaurants. They look delicious, almost as if they're the real thing. Visitors can experience making their own food samples, so I gave it a try. First, the shop attendant demonstrates. You can try the traditional method of using wax. I used colored wax to make tempura. The heated and melted wax is poured in to make the shape. I'm a bit nervous.
Looks good. It's crispy tempura. Next, put it into the cold water.
A delicious-looking sample of tempura is ready. Next, white wax is stretched thinly. Can you guess what I'm making? Then, green wax is poured in. It's stretched thinly and widely.
Looks okay. You stretched it well. You even have some pretty lines. Wrap it while rolling it around, as if you're enveloping it softly and big.
So, can you guess what I made? Wow, it's lettuce! These are the product samples I made. They look real, don't they?
Wow, you look like you were really enjoying the jinriksha ride.
I did. It really was a lot of fun. The rickshaw puller gave explanations that were easy to understand, and I was able to learn more about Asakusa and its history, probably more than by simply walking around the area on my own.
And that class to make food samples seemed fun as well. You made them really well, so if they came out on a plate, I'd probably put them in my mouth.
Thank you, but they really did look real, didn't they? You see food samples everywhere in Japan, but there aren't many opportunities to experience actually making them. So there's a lot of detail that goes into them, so I was a bit worried that I might screw it up. But in the end, they did come out pretty nicely.
They definitely looked real. And after the break, we bring you a report from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. We're watching Channel Japan. Up next is a report from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite.
This time we're going to focus on a company that's putting efforts in a certain area that's said to influence the purchasing decisions of consumers. So I have a question. If you have to choose among the same products made by different companies, what would you base your decision on?
Well, I guess price and functionality.
That's probably true in most cases, and I'm sure many people would also put importance on the brand. Now, I want to show you something. This is a ranking of top growing brands of global companies based in Japan.
I see there's Nintendo and the car maker Subaru.
Yes, and there's also the company that's ranked third, Yamaha.
Well, it's famous around the world for motorcycles.
That's right, and Yamaha has been working especially hard to grow its branding power, so take a look.
Iwata City, Shizuoka Prefecture. This is a history museum of Yamaha Motor. From motorcycles to boats and even helicopters. Products of their land, sea, and air businesses, about 200 in all, are displayed here.
And it's perfect probably for a drive.
I think so.
This woman, who's enthusiastically looking at the exhibits of the facility, she's been riding Yamaha motorcycles for about 10 years now. She's traveled 13,000 kilometers on her beloved motorcycle and has come here all the way from Italy.
Riding for 13,000 kilometers. I felt tired a number of times, but after sleeping and waking up, I'd have this desire to experience the freedom of riding my motorcycle again.
She says the enjoyment she gets from riding the motorcycle is the #1 reason why she continues to choose Yamaha. A major strength of Yamaha is the appeal of its products. The company's AI-equipped Motoroid, which was unveiled last year, has won 2 of the industry's 3 major global design awards. What's more, in September, it unveiled the world's first 3-wheeled sport tourer called Nikkei.
We set specifications by incorporating the ease of after-sales services and maintenance in the development of products through what we call 3S, sales, services, and spare parts. We're building a relationship with our customers.
Through the 3 S's of sales, services, and spare parts, the company has continued to introduce one-of-a-kind products. They say that's at the core of the Yamaha style of brand enhancement. This is a shop specializing in Yamaha motorcycles. From late in the afternoon, people start coming into the shop, one after another, for inspections and maintenance.
This heats up, and that's why it's not recharging properly, and the engine doesn't work.
The shop attendant explains the reason for the problem in detail. What's more,
that was supposed to be the end of the repair, but when I checked it one final time, I found the switch at the root of the front brake was broken.
they look for problems other than those pointed out by customers and fix them.
With other manufacturers, if I had a problem on the weekend, they'd ask me to wait 1 week. Here, they handle my issue right away. And this time, it took just 3 days from inspecting to fixing the problem. But they're able to work on my motorcycle only because they have a good idea of how I usually ride my motorcycle.
The customers here all praise the skills of the mechanics. That's the second S, service. Yamaha has adopted its own qualification system for mechanics. Honda and Suzuki also have similar systems. But Yamaha has set up a mechanic training program under a unified global standard, allowing customers to get the exact same service anywhere around the world.
From Australia.
In mid-October, a competition to choose the top mechanic in the world was held here.
We will do our best to show the whole world the experience we've acquired and the strong passion we have to improve our techniques.
Gathered were 21 certified Yamaha mechanics from 19 countries and regions. They're among the best, having beat out 34,000 people in elimination rounds. They're being judged in two areas. First is customer service. The judges check whether they're able to provide explanations of motorcycle inspection results that are easy to understand. Some give explanations while standing next to the customer so that they're sharing the same perspective. Questions unrelated to maintenance that customers might ask are also posed to the mechanics.
I fell down and my helmet scratched. Can I keep using it?
No, so your helmet's scratched. Unfortunately, you cannot see any damage presented into the helmet shell. So therefore, I highly recommend that you purchase a new helmet.
The second area for evaluation is technical. They have to figure out why the engine won't start and fix the problem. A battle of national pride that comes down to this one 80-minute challenge. They don't even have time to wipe away their perspiration. But faster doesn't mean better. They have to use covers so as not to scratch the motorcycle. Make sure not to lose any screws or tools. And pay careful attention to the fine details. At the same time that Yamaha is working to train mechanics around the world, it's also putting effort into creating an environment where they can fully apply their abilities.
No matter how skilled a mechanic is, this system only works when genuine components properly arrive at the right time and with the right price. We're working to build that kind of system and constantly carrying out reforms.
The heart of that effort is the Global Parts Center. The secret to the final S of brand enhancement, spare parts, can also be found here. This facility is spread out over an area of 67,000 square meters. More than 300,000 Yamaha-made components distributed around the world are stored here. Among them are old parts that may not even be necessary anymore.
This is a component of diesel engines for fishing boats.
They started storing it in 1990. While the engine is no longer produced, there are parts that have been waiting to be used for nearly 30 years. In contrast, with small, frequently used components, some 16,000 are shipped out every day. They're put in blue boxes according to the shop that placed the order. From Kanagawa Prefecture to Tokyo and Mie. They're delivered to 3,000 shops daily. Within Japan, components are delivered within 24 hours of the order.
The inventory we have to keep is a disadvantage, but we're providing a product that's rooted in people's daily lives. So, we offer services that will make people put their trust in the Yamaha brand.
So the 3 S's of sales, services, and spare parts are central to Yamaha's efforts to strengthen its brand.
That seems to be the case, and as we saw in the video, they even designed the specifications of motorcycles based on the ease of providing after-sales services and maintenance.
And next, we have a video report from the Nikkei online edition.
Yes, this time it's about an ultra-compact satellite developed by a startup.
So what are the advantages of small satellites?
Well, satellites are put into space using rockets, and launching rockets is extremely costly.
About how much?
If you take Japan's H-2A rockets, for example, the cost is said to be around $90 million.
Definitely not a small figure.
Exactly. And the cost goes up depending on the weight and size of the satellite being launched, meaning smaller ones are less expensive.
So an ultra-compact satellite is relatively inexpensive to put in space.
That's right. Take a look.
A so-called microsatellite called GRUS was recently unveiled. It weighs about 100 kilograms. It was developed by a space startup called Axel Space. The satellite can take high-resolution images, even capturing a single car from space.
It can reduce costs in wide-ranging areas, including agriculture, forestry, urban development, and map-making, and we believe its use will become more widespread.
It will be carried by a rocket scheduled to be launched by Russia by the end of the year. They plan to put 20 to 30 in orbit by 2022 to cover the entire Earth.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so join us again next week.